Hello again, my name is Cain Del Sol, and welcome to A Satanic Perspective. Today I'm going to talk about the satanic concept of the afterlife and how it does and does not relate to Christianity. As we've mentioned before, Satanism is not a rigid structure of belief. Thus, as a Satanist, you can really have any idea of the afterlife you want. This means that there are Satanists out there that believe in reincarnation, Hades, Sheol, Valhalla, Hell, and some even Summerland. This is possible because, as shocking as it may seem, the concept of the afterlife is not intrinsically tied to the concept of a god or creator. You can be atheist and believe in some form of afterlife. You can be theist and still believe that there is no continuation of your consciousness after death. But today I wanted to specifically talk about the satanic approach to hell. So as we know, the standard Christian concept of hell is an amalgamation of a bunch of different pagan and mythological concepts of the afterlife, sprinkled with your standard Christian fear and guilt-mongering. Read Dante's Inferno and Milton's Paradise Lost, you'll get the idea. So out of those many varied types of Satanism, there are those that believe in this form of a hell as their afterlife. They choose this. They basically accept the Christian narrative. They just side with Satan and the Antichrist. In these concepts, Satan wins the final war for the souls of man, and thus also the final war of Armageddon, laying waste to heaven and the angels of God. This turns the proverbial tables, making heaven a barren wasteland and hell a paradise for those who chose to follow Satan. To me, this is a very interesting viewpoint, and certainly I did believe it for a while myself. The problem is that it requires an acceptance of Christianity, and I just couldn't stick with that. My form of Satanism stands entirely disconnected from Christianity, but that's a subject for another video. The point that draws me is in the main ideological requirements for this belief. You see, to recognize the Christian narrative as true and still side with the proverbial bad guy, you either have to be unbelievably cruel in nature or remarkably compassionate. By that, I mean you either seek to torture and punish mankind eternally, or you see the Christian God as a tyrant and Satan as the valiant rebel seeking freedom for an enslaved creation. In either case, you walk in accepting that if your side loses, you will, in effect, be punished for treason for all eternity. That takes some serious dedication, and that you can't usually find in mainstream religions. That said, I do know of some Satanists that believe that Satan is actually an agent of the Judeo-Christian God, as is seen in the Old Testament, thus making them basically also agents of God, looking to tempt and punish and test the will of mankind. Once again, this is a belief that requires quite a bit of mental acrobatics to stick with, and I would say a little bit of arrogance to think that you are the tool of a god to punish mankind. But that's just my perspective. So those are my thoughts on the matter. I hope that was enlightening, or at least interesting. I know this one was shorter than normal, but sometimes these subjects lend themselves to less exhibition and more substance. Things are generally more simple than you would think when it comes to Satanism. The complex answers are more often the work of propagandists and paranoid Christians. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, leave a comment down below. Until next time, this has been A Satanic Perspective.